Hello. Uh, my name is Garrett. Welcome to my week 4 of attempting to grow from rock bottom. For anyone that hasn't watched any of the previous videos, I'll give a very brief description of what rock bottom actually meant in my life. So, for years, starting since I was like 13, I'm 25 now, I slowly developed an addiction to pornography and escalated into getting pretty addicted to weed and just instant gratification as a whole. Um, and after about 7 or 8 years of escalation and 3 years of trying to stop, I kind of just went into a major downward spiral with those behaviors and just completely gave in to the urge to pursue instant gratification in every way that I could. And over the course of about 2 years, I kind of let my life just fall apart completely. I gained about 40 to 50 pounds of fat, and I really cared about lifting and my health. So that was pretty devastating to me. Gained about $20,000 to $30,000 of debt, and I allowed myself to just become an incredibly weak, undisciplined person who I just failed and got fired over and over again at pretty much anything I tried to do because I had become so weak and fragile emotionally. And the behaviors of pornography escalated into a lot. I mean, any type of porn you can think of, pretty much. Not any. The worst ones I was able to stay away from, but um, it escalated into me visiting escorts and kind of developing an addiction with visiting escorts, both trans female and female, which I had a very religious background that I kind of removed myself from, but that still caused a lot of shame and confusion for me. And it just during that period, where there was about a year where I was compulsively engaging with escorts and my life was just at a bottom I never experienced. I struggled with wanting to kill myself multiple times and like started really kind of putting a plan together for how I would do that. So that is not where I am now. This isn't actually week 4 uh, of of trying to push out of that bottom. That was the worst period was probably about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, somewhere in there. This is just week 4 of me actually documenting my journey and trying to improve myself. So what these videos are just my attempt to kind of analyze what is working in my life, what is not working, as I attempt to become the person that I really want to be. So a big part of that for me is tracking everything. So I kind of just go over the week and give an analysis of how my week went. Do that through a spreadsheet tool that I created that allows me to track my work input, finances, positive habits, negative habits. This week was very good overall. It wasn't quite last week. Last week was on paper literally perfect, but it was still a very good week as a whole. As you could see, so with my work input, I worked the full intended hours on 5 out of 6 days and ended up working a little over 54 hours, which is good. I mean, this was the only real area where I would say I have improvement to make. Financially, made 1,400, which my goal per week to stay on pace is about 1,250. That surpassed my goal. Saved like 65 to 70% of it, so that's really good. Very much surpassed my goal, kept me on pace for the month. My positive habits, a great overall, 27 out of 28. I just forgot to text my accountability partner one night, which was annoying because I think I've had like 6 to 7 weeks straight of 28 out of 28, and that little perfectionistic part of me that's still in there is frustrated by like, damn, what a stupid reason to knock a 28. But still great. I mean, still completely keeps me on track for the goal for the month. And with negative habits, I overcame 4 out of 4 urges, consumed no pornography, texted no escorts, visited no escorts. all around, really good week. Um, I'm very excited about with the negative habits, specifically with urges overcome. I've been holding steady at around 4 urges felt per week, which compared to the past month or two, I was experiencing about 6 to 7 per week. So I'm very happy with the fact that the tool I'm using, not only is it working to counteract urges, but it seems like it is starting to reduce the amount I experience as well, which is really exciting because while the tool I've been using has really implemented or created this belief that like no urge is more powerful than me, I can overcome all of them. I also don't really want to live the rest of my life. It's a little daunting thinking about living the rest of my life, always experiencing these urges to engage in self-destructive behavior. So I'm excited to see that it is those urges are reducing because over the course of years that could get down to like one every couple months, which is really exciting to think about for me, given for years my life has been totally consumed by this behavior. Either it has been I've been actively engaging in it and completely self-destructing, or I've been putting all of my mental focus and effort into not doing it. So the thought of being able to reach a point in my life where addictive behavior is just not even something I have to think about anymore, that is incredibly inspiring and motivating to me. Now, the only area of real improvement I could say for this week is the full days worked. And while 5 out of 6 is not bad at all, and 54 hours is not bad either, my goal is around 60. And on that Monday specifically that I failed to work my full intended hours, I didn't work any hours. Which it wasn't, I mean, in the past when I'd failed to work any hours whatsoever, it would have been a result of like procrastination with YouTube videos or pornography or weed or just a myriad of negative, instantly gratifying behaviors. Uh, it isn't this or isn't that anymore. Instead of the distraction being self-destruction, it's socialization. Like I went and got lunch with my mom before I started working, under the justification of like I don't get to see her that often. She wants to get lunch. She invited me. Yeah, I can do that and then work after. And then when I went to start working, which I already planned to work less on this day because I had some other things I wanted to do. But when it was time to start working, my roommate and just one of my best friends got home, and we ended up spending most of the day like talking and just hanging out. Which again, I mean, I work 60 to 65 hours, and outside of that, I'm trying to work out and just build myself up. So I really have struggled to find much free time, and so I don't necessarily look at socialization as a great thing. It is well worth doing. The relationships I have in my life are important to me, absolutely. But where I run into a feeling of like failure and shame is if I intend to work, I want to work. Anything else besides work is a form of procrastination and distraction. So on Mondays specifically, over the last month, Mondays have been the day where I've kind of just every other week had a day like this where I just get done half of what I plan to because I allow myself to go hang out with somebody earlier or like before I finished working. Um, so the main improvement there is usually rationalizations that pop into my head for why it's justified for me to uh, for me to um, go and hang out. I usually tell myself, "Oh, I'll do the work later, and I'll have more than enough time. It'll be fine." And I think those are faulty rationalizations. I think I need to call them out and reframe them when they appear. It's very easy to fall for them because they're convincing me to do the thing that's easier and more comfortable and more stimulating. Um, but in reality, it's like there's no reason not to get the work I intend to do done first and then go hang out with somebody. because hanging out with someone when there's something, at least in my experience for me, when I'm hanging out with someone when I know that I should be working, I just feel kind of stressed and anxious and ashamed a little bit the entire time. So it's much better to hang out with someone after all my work is finished and I can fully relax and enjoy the moment. So just when those thoughts appear, yeah, there are going to be occasional days where it is like set aside 2 hours before I finished working. But on those days, I need to be aware it's going to be easier for me to justify not working afterwards. And those are the days where I'm most vulnerable. So I need to go into it very conscious. But on most days, there's just not a real justification for why I should socialize before finishing working. And moving forward, the improvement I want to make is just calling out any rationalization to do so as faulty. And that's definitely something that when I've tried to analyze myself and learn in order to overcome all these negative behaviors in my life, that I've found with myself is a lot of negative behavior as a whole is the result of faulty rationalizations. At least for me, it's like, especially the more impulsive I'd become and the more I developed this part of me that just craved instant gratification over all else. My brain was very good at having an emotional pull towards something that I didn't want to do, and then because of that emotional pull, generating a rational train of thought for why I should engage in it. And I would just grab onto that rationalization of like, yeah, that works. That's a reason why I should engage in this behavior that I know I don't want to do. And so not only combating those rationalizations, but analyzing them to understand, like, what is the belief behind it? What is the negative belief that I have that is this rationalization is rooted in? Is something I think is very important. Like, I've made a very conscious effort to start reframing thoughts, identifying the negative thoughts that motivate negative behavior, and then creating very deliberate reframes for them. So for instance, with this, like, I have the thought of, I'm going to miss out if I don't hang out with my friend right now. I should go hang out with my friends and put off working till later. The reframe for that, like, now that I've identified that thought as something that leads to negative behavior I don't want to partake in, having a deliberate reframe ready to go that says, I never put off work to socialize or have fun when I still have work to do. I always do my work before I socialize. Things like that, where I just reframe the negative thought in an effort to embed more positive beliefs. I think that is just, it's a very intangible concept. I think beliefs, there's no way to like quantify it really, like to quantify what do you actually believe and how do you change that, and is the work you're doing to change your beliefs actually working. So it's an area that I think is very important, but like I have struggled to really confidently figure out what works because it's such an intangible thing. But from what I know now, which admittedly is probably very little, that is one of the best things that I found works for me, is if I just keep repeating the positive belief that I want to embed into my brain over time, then that positive belief will, then I'll fully adopt it. And I won't struggle with these rationalizations anymore, because this new positive belief is so embedded that it is the natural thought that appears. So we'll see over time if that works, I guess. But yeah, so that was my week. It was a good week overall. I am excited about it. Slight improvements to make, but it's always a good thing. Always something to focus on. And yeah. And I always will end these videos on just kind of shouting out the business I'm working on and building is a community and one day an online program built around this idea that there is a universal system for human growth. And it's a community built around kind of coming together to figure out this universal system and create it. And so right now it's, in its alpha stage. There's barely anybody in it, and most of the components that will one day be there aren't really there. At this point, it's just a couple people holding each other accountable and sharing what they're trying to change in their life and tracking their progress. So if that appeals to you at all, I'll put the link down below. You can absolutely jump on a call with me and we can talk about if it's something that would be worth doing right now. Like I said, it's in its alpha stage, so I very much understand if the two people watching this want to wait and see what it becomes before they engage in it. But if there is any interest, link will be below. Outside of that, I appreciate anyone who watches these videos. My skill with YouTube and creating engaging videos is probably pretty slim, so if a random person decided to watch this far, I very much appreciate you, and I hope that you find all the growth and progress you're looking for in your life. See you next week.